Hello, my name is Tom Elliot with ChicagoPride.com, and I'm here with Nick Kern, Aubrey Stanton, and John Martinez, who are the writers and producers of Blown, a new web series. So,
Blown is a web series. It's about 20-somethings. We wrote it pulling, I think, ideas and stuff from our lives, and I think we were most interested about stereotypes and how when we first meet people, we kind of peg them in a certain light. This person is, the leader of the group. This one's the nurturer. This one's the one who always has, the sassy comment. And then we thought, how do we spin that? How can we alter that and make them, a little more realistic? And that's kind of, we went from there, and that's where the characters came from.
Kind of playing on that, the idea that, that there are, especially in the gay community, there are stereotypes, and, stereotypes are based somewhat in fact, but we wanted to delve deeper beneath those stereotypes because there inevitably is more of a story there than just the kind of stereotype that's on the surface. And so that's what we wanted to explore with kind of people that we know, and that's kind of, again, where the characters came from, or from our daily lives.
cool. So, talking about characters, Elijah is the main character. He's the one who moves from a small town in Virginia to the big city of Chicago, and I personally can relate to that. I know many of my friends can relate to how intimidating it can be for someone to just move to Chicago from a small town. So why don't you talk to us about, give us a little insight into Elijah's story.
It is very intimidating, and that decision isn't made lightly. And it's not made lightly for Elijah either. Something happens in Elijah's past, which you'll have to watch and find out what it is.
All right.
I can't give it all away. But there's an event that happens that drives Elijah to Chicago to escape. He's never experienced anything outside of this small town or this college town he's lived in, and he feels like he needs to escape somewhere. He needs to get somewhere else. I mean, without giving too much away.
So what kind of, we've talked about that it's intimidating, and I know there's a lot of struggles for people moving to Chicago on their own, kind of. So what kind of challenges did Elijah have coming to Chicago?
Well, part of it is that in a small town, and I'm from Virginia, and so our small town experience is that, especially as a gay person, you tend to be the gay person, the only gay person, at least, especially in the high school experience. And so for him, it's the struggle of, he kind of had his, coming out and his kind of self-discovery, he thought, as a young person in a small town. But then that's really not on the larger scope of things. Like, he had no idea really what he was identifying with and really how he fit into that in the context of a larger scheme. So when he then comes to Chicago, and he's a person who prided himself on having his stuff together, and he felt very confident in how he was running his life. And so when he made this bold decision, he put himself in this huge context that he wasn't in any way prepared for, because Chicago is just, you're not the only gay person. Like, you suddenly are in these, huge communities of people who, there's different stereotypes and expectations, but there's also more opportunities, and it's, all these friendships and different kinds of relationships of all different sorts that you can suddenly have. And so that was another struggle. It is a huge struggle on the show. It's just him realizing this way he defined himself and who he believed he was, when put up against this larger structure, it's actually like, whoa, I have no idea. So he tries all these different hats on, and he tries to figure out how he fits into that big piece, and that's really hard for him. So.
And you play the role of Mara in this story, right?
Yeah.
So, and Mara's got to have a huge role because she's the one
because
who...
I'm a narcissist. She's good.
Always do. But in the sense that she's the one who really introduces Elijah to Chicago's gay community and helps kind of open that world up for him. So why don't you talk about how Mara has such an important part in this story, in Elijah's story?
Mara's fun because like the sausage fest of my life, she's pretty much the only female at first, at least for a while. And she kind of has this fun, she's like the doorkeeper almost. So like his connection to her is because they grew up together in Virginia. She and Elijah, though, really couldn't be more different as far as who they are as people. So she's always kind of represented to him and to everyone around her. She's very free and crazy and wild and uninhibited and has no sense of consequence. So I think that was a huge role model for him to do something different. He's like, oh, I'm going to go where Maura is because she's like doing this crazy thing. But what's interesting of her being like the only female is like it's like he's an outsider. And on the surface, she seems like she would be an outsider, but actually she's very inside of the community. So it's a fun, even just that on its own is like a fun way of twisting. You know, it's not like his way into the gay scene here is via dating someone or it's like actually kind of strange. It's like through his girlfriend who actually sleeps with men. Like she's not a lesbian, you know? And so it's kind of weird, like way to kind of have this fun, like them going hand in hand, but she's just very comfortable there, thriving with men because she just likes men better, and she loves her strange ragtag group of friends. So she though is important as a device as far as storytelling because she is the embodiment of what Elijah kind of wants to be and be like. But actually, as we discover, you know, everything comes at a price. So for her, all this freedom and all of this kind of doing whatever she wants, it does have a price for her character. So she too has some stuff going on throughout the show that is fun to discover. But yeah, it's like she represents what he thinks he wants. And really she's kind of like, I don't even know what I want, you know?
So for me personally, I'm from Chicago. And I'm from the South Side, so I pulled, different things about the culture and what I know, and from my point of view, most of my friends are people who, moved here from other places, and that's if you're from Chicago, that's a very interesting thing, because you either, you have your friends that you went to high school with and you grew up with, and those are your friends forever, or like I don't talk to a lot of the people that I grew up with. Most of my friends are from other places. So I think for me, that's kind of where there's a character in the show, Ty, who's from Chicago, and that's kind of was my way into the story and to the development for there, because we kind of took on different characters and kind of we were like, okay, so we're going to develop these characters and then throw them all together and see what happens. And then the scenarios and situations and kind of arc of the story stemmed from there. But that was me. I guess I brought Chicago to
the Chicago story.
What do you expect, gay people to take away from this this web series? Or just even in general, what do you hope people can take away? And that's
as gay people, I think that we're very fortunate that we do have such a strong community and this sense of a larger population. I think we're really lucky in that fact, and I think that we're really lucky that we have the opportunity to choose our family. When we get to somewhere new.
Well, we also address too in the show the family that you don't get to choose. You're like your family.
Exactly.
And kind of what happens when that, those two worlds meet. Is that a good thing, a bad thing? Did you run from your family? If so, why? So yeah, we were very, very adamant about addressing the idea of that weird relationship you develop with friends, and that you get so invested in. And when an outsider comes into this little circle that you've built yourself, how does that change things? Are you okay with that? Maybe you're not. And in the long run, it's like you don't get to choose your family. And the family you get to choose, sometimes you don't even get to choose them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I'm really excited for this to come out. I have known Nick for a while, and I've known about this project for a while, so I'm excited for it to come out. So when do we get to watch it?
This winter.
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 Cool. So what's happening between now and winter when you release it?
Well, right now we are in the middle of our fundraising campaign on Indiegogo, and our goal is $20,000. We're in the middle of post-production right now. We just started post-production. Really pumped. We have all of our footage, and we're just, gonna keep on kicking until we finish.
Yeah, we have it all filmed, which is really exciting. Like, I think it's good.
I hope so.
So that's done. So that's really a huge accomplishment. But yeah, now it's like the long, strenuous, everything else. And also we have to promote the show ourselves because we're not connected to, some network, which is part of the cool beauty of internet stuff. But so that is a large part of what we're doing right now, and that's what we make money for too, is marketing and telling people about it so it doesn't get unseen. And also, just making it look as pretty as possible and like a really great show. So that it takes time to do that, but it's already really cool. It's already really cool, the stuff we're seeing.
Yeah, and we're slowly leaking little teasers on our Facebook page that you can find character profile pictures, more videos, just to give you a sense of the whole world.
Cool. Well, thanks, guys. Any last thoughts? Comments?
Like us on Facebook in the meantime.
Yes, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, check out the Indiegogo, www.winemouthproductions.com, and just
get ready to get blown.
All right, get ready to get blown. All right. Thanks, guys.